Whether you're a tech enthusiast, industry professional, or just curious about the future of AI Agents Unleashed will keep you informed and inspired. Buckle up and get ready to unleash the potential of AI.
All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into some cutting-edge AI research.
Yeah.
Specifically a system called Magentic-One,
Okay.
which is really pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
Right.
We've got a bunch of excerpts from the research paper, and it's clear that this is not just another AI. This is a whole team of AI agents working together.
Exactly.
Kind of like a digital dream team.
Yeah, the researchers are calling this a multi-agent system.
Okay.
And it's really kind of changing the game in the AI world.
Yeah.
So instead of having one AI that tries to do everything, you have specialized agents,
Right.
each with their own kind of expertise collaborating to tackle these really complex tasks.
Okay, so it's like a real-life team. You know,
Yeah.
you've got different people with different skills bringing their A game to the table.
Right.
But in this case, it's AI agents.
Exactly. And that's what makes Magentic-One so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a web surfer agent that can navigate the web, a file surfer to handle files a coder, to write code, and a computer terminal to execute it.
Wow.
It's like assembling the ultimate AI toolkit.
So if I need to find information online, I've got the web surfer on it.
Right.
If I need to analyze some data, file surfer to the rescue.
Uh-huh.
And if I need some code written, the coder can handle that too.
Exactly. But here's the real kicker.
Yeah.
There's also an orchestrator agent.
Oh,
It's like the project manager of this AI team.
okay.
It decides which agent is best suited for each part of a task and makes sure everything runs smoothly.
So it's not just about having a bunch of smart AI agents.
Right.
It's about orchestrating their efforts effectively.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with these complex tasks.
Precisely. The orchestrator is kind of the brains of the operation,
Yeah.
breaking down those complex tasks into smaller chunks
Okay.
and then assigning them to the right agents at the right time.
Right.
That's one of the things that makes multi-agent systems like this so powerful. They can be incredibly efficient because each agent only needs to be good at its specific job.
Right.
No more trying to train one AI to do everything under the sun.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's like specialization in the workplace.
Exactly.
You wouldn't ask your accountant to do your marketing,
Right.
right? You want experts in each area.
Exactly.
But can we see this AI dream team in action?
Sure.
Give us a real-world example of how this all comes together.
Okay. Imagine you need to find the cheapest salad under $15
Okay.
at a supermarket within 2 blocks of Lincoln Park in Chicago.
All right.
Sounds like a pretty specific
Yeah.
and potentially time-consuming task.
Definitely. I'd probably be scrolling through a bunch of websites
Yeah.
and maps for a while.
Right.
So how would Magentic-One tackle this?
Well, the orchestrator would first analyze the task
Okay.
and realize it needs information from the web.
It's okay.
So it would call on the web surfer to search for supermarkets
Right.
near Lincoln Park in Chicago.
Okay, so the web surfer is our scout, gathering intel from the web.
Exactly.
What happens next?
The web surfer would then pass that list of supermarkets to the file surfer, which
Yeah.
can then dig into those supermarket websites, maybe even their online menus,
Okay.
to find out, what salads they offer and how much they cost.
So the file surfer is like our data analyst,
Yeah,
sifting through all that information to find the relevant details.
exactly. And once the file surfer has compiled a list of salads and prices,
Right.
it hands it back over to the orchestrator,
Okay.
which can then determine which salads meet our criteria,
Uh-huh.
under $15 and within 2 blocks of Lincoln Park.
And boom,
Right.
we've got our cheap salad recommendations.
Yeah.
All thanks to this coordinated effort between the AI agents.
It's a simple example,
Yeah.
but it illustrates how this multi-agent approach allows Magentic-One to handle tasks that would be difficult
Right.
or impossible for a single AI agent to do on its own.
It's like each agent is contributing a small piece to the overall solution.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm curious,
Yeah.
are there any other real-world tasks that Magentic-One can handle?
Oh, yeah, there are a bunch.
Okay. Like what? So we've got our digital dream team, each agent with its own superpower.
Right?
But how do we know they're actually good at what they do?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you even test something as complex as Magentic-One?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's something the researchers put a lot of thought into.
Okay.
They actually developed their own evaluation tool called AutoGenBench,
Okay.
specifically for testing multi-agent systems like this.
Okay, so AutoGenBench is like a proving ground for
Yep.
these AI agents, a way to see what they can really do.
Exactly. And it's especially important because these agents are designed to interact with the real world.
Right.
You know, we need to make sure that they can handle real-world complexity
Right.
and that their actions are predictable and reliable.
Yeah, we don't want our AI agents going rogue
Right.
and wreaking havoc on the internet. But what makes AutoGenBench so special? What does it actually do?
Well, one of the key things it does is create isolated environments for each test.
Okay.
So imagine you're testing an AI agent
Okay.
that needs to learn how to play a game.
Okay.
If you run multiple tests in the same environment,
Uh-huh.
the agent might learn from its previous attempts
Right.
and get better over time,
Okay.
even if it's not actually improving.
So it's like giving each agent a fresh start for every test,
Exactly.
ensuring they're not getting any unfair advantages from previous experience.
Right. AutoGenBench uses something called Docker containers to create these isolated environments.
Okay.
It's a bit technical,
Right.
but basically it's like giving each agent its own little virtual sandbox to play in.
Okay.
And that's crucial for getting accurate and reliable results.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with AI systems that can learn and adapt.
So it's like having a controlled experiment
Right.
where you can isolate the variables
Exactly.
and really see how each agent performs on its own merits. Yeah. But they didn't just test Magentic-One in a virtual sandbox, did they?
Right.
Didn't you mention something about real-world benchmarks?
You're right. The researchers wanted to see how Magentic-One would perform on tasks
Yeah.
that people actually face in their daily lives.
Right.
They tested it on 3 different benchmarks.
Okay.
Think of them like obstacle courses for AI agents.
Oh.
GAIA, Assistant Bench, and Web Arena.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Let's break down these benchmarks.
Okay.
What's GAIA all about?
So GAIA stands for General AI Assistant Benchmark.
Okay.
And it's designed to test an AI's ability to handle a wide range of tasks that a human assistant might do.
Okay.
For example, one of the challenges in GAIA is to find the 2 U.S. cities where presidents were born that are farthest apart going east.
Wow. That's a pretty tough one.
Yeah.
It's not just about finding information.
Right.
It's about understanding the question,
Right.
planning a strategy,
Yeah.
and using different tools to get the answer.
Exactly. GAIA is really testing those higher-level cognitive abilities.
That we typically associate with human intelligence.
Okay, so GAIA is for General AI Assistance.
Right.
What about Assistant Bench? Does it also focus on tasks that a human assistant might do?
Yes, but Assistant Bench is more geared towards those time-consuming multi-step tasks you might encounter online.
Okay.
So think of things like book a flight from New York to London for under $500 or find a vegan restaurant in San Francisco with a 4-star rating or higher.
Oh, those are definitely tasks I've spent way too much time on myself.
Right?
So it's testing the AI's ability to navigate the webidential mess, understand complex instructions, and filter through lots of information to find the best options.
Exactly. It's about efficiency, accuracy, and understanding those nuanced human requests that can sometimes be tricky even for us humans to articulate.
All right, 2 benchmarks down, 1 to go.
Yeah.
What's Web Arena all about?
So Web Arena is interesting because it takes place in a simulated web environment.
Okay.
It's like a miniature internet that the researchers created specifically for testing AI agents. So they built their own little digital world for these AI agents to play in.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. What kinds of tasks are involved in Web Arena?
So it includes things like navigating forums, finding specific information on websites, interacting with online forums, even playing simple web-based games.
Okay.
The goal is to see how well the AI agents can adapt to a complex, dynamic online environment.
It's like a final exam for these AI agents.
Yeah.
Testing their ability to navigate the digital world and accomplish real-world goals.
Exactly.
But I'm dying to know, how did Magentic-One perform on these benchmarks?
Yeah.
Did it pass with flying colors?
Well, the results are pretty impressive.
Okay.
Magentic-One was statistically competitive with other state-of-the-art AI systems,
Okay.
even some that are specifically designed for these particular benchmarks.
Wait, so it held its own against those specialist AIs?
Yeah.
Even though it's designed to be more of a generalist?
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this research. It suggests that this multi-agent approach could be a really powerful way to build AI systems that are both versatile and capable.
It's like having an all-star team that can play any position on the field,
Right.
not just specialize in one particular area.
Exactly. And what's even more impressive is that Magentic-One achieved these results without any modifications to its core capabilities or the way the agents collaborate. It really highlights the potential of this approach for building truly adaptable and general-purpose AI systems.
Okay, so Magentic-One is clearly a powerhouse
Yeah.
when it comes to tackling complex tasks.
Right.
But how does it actually stack up against human performance?
Right.
Are we on the verge of being replaced by our AI overlords?
Well, not quite.
Okay.
The researchers did compare Magentic-One's performance to humans on the GAIA benchmark.
Okay.
And humans still came out on top.
Okay.
But it's worth noting that Magentic-One is still under development, and the field of AI is advancing rapidly.
So there's still hope for humanity.
For now.
For now.
But seriously, it's incredible to see how far AI has come.
Yeah, it really is.
And how systems like Magentic-One are pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.
But with all this talk about AI agents interacting with the real world,
Right.
learning, adapting,
Yeah.
it makes me a little nervous.
Sure.
What are the limitations of this multi-agent approach?
Right.
Surely there must be some challenges that still need to be addressed.
You're right. There are always limitations and challenges when you're dealing with cutting-edge technology.
Of course.
One thing the researchers highlight is the cost and time it takes to run these complex AI systems.
Right.
So Magentic-One relies on a lot of what are called LLM calls, which are basically requests to large language models to process information.
Okay.
These calls can be computationally expensive and time-consuming.
So it's like having a team of brilliant consultants.
Yeah.
But they all charge top dollar.
Right.
And take their sweet time getting back to you with answers.
Right. That could be a major bottleneck for real-world applications.
Exactly. And that's an active area of research.
Yeah.
Finding ways to optimize these systems and make them more efficient.
Okay.
The paper suggests that using smaller, more specialized AI models for specific tasks could help reduce costs and improve speed.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like having a team with a mix of senior partners and junior associates.
Right.
You delegate the less complex tasks to the less expensive team members.
Exactly.
But what about the agents themselves? Are there any limitations to what they can actually do?
That's another key point the researchers raise.
Okay.
The current agents have a relatively limited action space, meaning there are certain things they can't do.
Okay.
For example, the web surfer agent can't hover over items on a web page or drag and drop elements, which can be limiting for certain tasks.
So it's like having a web browser with some features disabled.
Right.
You can still get a lot done, but you might run into roadblocks if you need to do something more advanced.
Exactly.
Are there any other limitations they discuss?
Well.
Right. And it sounds as the coder agent also has some limitations when it comes to handling more complex coding tasks.
You're catching on. It's like having a junior programmer who's great at writing simple scripts but might get overwhelmed by a larger software development project.
Right.
Expanding the capabilities of these agents is definitely an ongoing challenge.
So there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
What about the way the agents work together? You mentioned that Magentic-One has a fixed team, right? The orchestrator, web surfer, file surfer, coder, and computer terminal. What if you need an agent with a different skill set?
That's a sharp observation. The fixed team structure is another area where things could evolve.
Okay.
Think of it like having a plumber on your team when you really need an electrician.
Right.
Right now, Magentic-One can't swap out agents or bring in new ones as needed.
So it's like having a static workforce instead of a flexible one where you can assemble the perfect team for each project.
Exactly. The researchers suggest that future multi-agent systems might allow for more dynamic team composition.
Okay.
Adding or removing agents as needed, which would make them even more adaptable and efficient.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It would be like having a pool of talented AI agents ready to step in and lend their expertise whenever it's needed. But there's one more thing that's been bugging me.
Okay.
If these AI agents are constantly learning and adapting, shouldn't they be able to remember what they've learned from previous tasks?
You've hit on another key limitation the researchers identified, the lack of long-term memory.
Okay.
Right now, Magentic-One treats each task as a fresh start. It's like having amnesia.
Right.
It might solve the same problem multiple times without realizing it's already done it before.
So all that valuable experience just disappears.
Right.
That seems incredibly inefficient.
It is, and it's something the researchers observed happening in their tests. The agents would often have to rediscover solutions to common subtasks over and over again.
Wow.
Which really slowed things down.
It's like having to reinvent the wheel every time you start a new project. Frustrating.
Very much so. Enabling these AI agents to learn from their experiences and build up a knowledge base that they can draw on for future tasks is a crucial area for future research, giving them a memory, so to speak.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's all about making these AI agents smarter and more efficient, right?
Exactly.
But I have to admit, all this talk about AI agents interacting with the real world, learning, adapting, it makes me a little nervous. What if they make mistakes?
Right.
What if they do something unintended or even harmful?
That's a valid concern. It's like giving someone a powerful tool without making sure they fully understand how to use it safely.
Exactly. And remember, these agents are designed to be autonomous.
Right.
To operate without constant human supervision. So how do we make sure they're acting responsibly? That they're not going to do something that could have negative consequences?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's something the researchers are acutely aware of.
Okay.
They emphasize that building these systems isn't just about technical prowess.
Yeah.
It's also about understanding the potential risks and taking steps to mitigate them.
So what are some of the safeguards they're proposing?
Yeah.
How do we prevent those AI mishaps?
One approach they suggest is incorporating reversibility into AI decision-making.
Okay.
It's like having an undo button for AI actions.
So if an agent is about to do something that could have irreversible consequences, it should pause and seek human guidance.
Precisely. It's about building in those checks and balances.
Okay.
Especially when dealing with actions that could have lasting impacts on the real world.
Right.
They also stress the importance of ongoing monitoring and evaluation, constantly scrutinizing the agent's actions to make sure they're aligned with our goals and values.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
Right.
We need to be actively involved in guiding these AI systems.
Exactly.
Making sure they're staying on the right track.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that involves being proactive, anticipating potential problems, and developing solutions before those problems turn into real-world headaches. It's about responsible AI development.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of multi-agent systems and Magentic-One.
It has been.
It's clear that this technology has enormous potential, but also comes with some very real challenges that we need to address carefully and thoughtfully.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we wrap up, what's the one big takeaway you'd like our listeners to ponder?
I think the key takeaway is that the future of AI is not preordained.
Okay.
It's a future that we're actively shaping through our choices, our research, and our commitment to responsible development.
It's a reminder that we have a role to play in steering this technology in a direction that benefits all of humanity.
We do. And that means having open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks.
Right.
Engaging with diverse perspectives and working together to create a future where AI enhances our lives and empowers us to create a better world.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, keep those minds curious and those questions coming. Until next time.